the extraction of these natural preservatives. Welcome to the show again for the second time, Mr. Francis.
Thank you.
Habari yako?
I'm very fine.
You're very fine.
Yeah.
How is the world of science taking you so far?
The world of science is very fantastic, and actually it reveals very many hidden treasures and buried treasures.
It looks like you're having a lot of fun with looking around some of the theories which have been implemented for scientific principles as well. Must be quite an exciting time for you.
We have very many theories that are yet to be discovered, or there are very many things that are yet to be revealed. You know, people tend to think that all that has been registered in books is enough, but there is a lot that is yet to be registered in books, and these are the hidden treasures that we are supposed to exploit them and to find industries to employ people and have jobs.
Because a lot of people think that the days of Newton and Max Planck are over. It's time for us to move on, but there's more to do still.
We still have scientific revolution in offing, and actually we expect a lot in science, because I've realized that there's still a lot that has not been researched upon, and I'm trying to research upon such kind of things, then reveal them to the world about what is going on, especially in villages and whatever.
Right. Before we get into what we have here today, maybe just a little insight again into yourself. How does your day-to-day look like in the world of science? Do you wake up, take a look at a scientific principle and a theory and think about further applications, or do you come along as you do your research? Does it come along as you do your research?
You know, science is a vocation, and it is a vocation that you are supposed to be faithful to. It is just like any other game. You are supposed to practice exercise day to day. You are supposed to be curious, because with the science, it is curiosity that it drives you to do anything. Because if you are not curious in science, you cannot find anything. You have to be curious, and you have to be questioning, and also you have to doubt what others have said, and also you have to improve what they have said, and also you have to believe, because there are great scientists that have come before you.
All right.
Because we have to deduce and derive from our past fathers.
Yes. What they already laid out, you have to deduce, you have to derive, you have to doubt sometimes, but you also have to believe, because they had the expertise necessary. That is great. That's a great way for us to get an insight into your world of science. Now, obtaining preservatives from byproducts of wood is what we are trying to get to look at today. And you're saying this has, of course, scientific backing, a lot of history behind the use of some of these natural preservatives. Maybe a little introduction into how you came about the use of these preservatives that we have on the table before a demonstration.
You see, I've never seen an oil or a chemical that we are given such that it cannot make your shoes or your socks to smell bad. I've never seen oil or a chemical or whatever. Neither have I seen any chemical that you are given such that you can put into gloves so that when you wear them, they cannot peel your skin. I've never seen such kind of a thing.
It's always after treatment is what they offer as a solution. Wash your shoes after, wash your hands after. That's all that's been there so far. Okay.
So you find that in the world of science, there is still a lot that is buried, the hidden treasures, things that are taken as rubbish. But these things, we can recycle them, and they can assist us a lot. They can reduce expenses and whatever in medicine. For instance, we have bad smelling shoes or bad smelling socks, bad smelling gumboots, because you have stayed with those things throughout the day. So the bacterial infection inside them produces very bad gas that smell very bad, awful. In fact, it is ammonia. And you find that those workers who work and they spend working with the gloves like these ones, polythene gloves, they have a problem. And this problem is the one that we hear every day, that people cannot be identified biometrically because their fingerprints are worn out. It is because of the bacterial infection. The bacterial infection is due because the bacteria produce acids. These acids are very corrosive, and because they are corrosive, when you try to remove the glove, you find that a thin skin peels away from your hand, and with the time you find that even the fingerprints are worn out, And so that when you go to elections or you want to be identified in a court case, you cannot be identified biometrically. And this is because of the gloves that we wear. Yeah, we have been using.
Okay.
So I came up with the solution to that, how we can avoid this one. And also we have latrines and toilets that smell very bad. Yeah, it is because of the production of maggots. How to stop this production of maggots? If we can stop the production of maggots, then we can stop that bad smell.
All right.
So it is a way to preserve our latrines and whatever.
Okay, so this are, you're saying there are environments, whether physical locations or even on your hands or shoes, that are creating a conducive, warm environment for the growth of bacteria and some of these other organisms, which are promoting bad smell or effects on the skin.
Yeah.
If I understand you correctly. So what is the solution that now you're offering to some of these problems?
Now, the solution, let me begin with the sawdust, because with the sawdust, you can just burn it and it becomes ash, and you find another medicine. So this sawdust is a medicine on its own, the way it is. And you know where sawdust you can find it, from the carpenters, where the carpenters, or from works that appertain to sawing.
Wood.
Yeah, sawing wood. Anywhere you can find the sawdust. And this sawdust is taken for granted. It is just taken as just for cooking and whatever. It is just taken as
byproduct, which is just there. Okay.
Yeah. But this sawdust, actually, from the principle of science, it can give you a Nobel Prize when you make a great revelation about it, microbiologically. From the microbiological point of view, this sawdust is antibiotic.
Right.
Because it kills bacteria that cause the corrosion, and those are that bring the bad smell from shoes and from socks and whatever. So it kills instantly, because this sawdust, it is reduced into a powder. It is made into a powder, so that when you wear shoes or wear socks or your gloves, you just sprinkle a little bit of it, that powder, or in the shoes or in the socks, then you wear. When you wear, even the whole day, even the second day, you won't feel any bad smell or sense any bad smell. There is no bad smell you're going to feel.
So you're saying that there's also scientific backing and precedence to this way back in the 1900s.
Yeah, in 1945, Sir Alexander Fleming, a Briton, discovered that a type of fungus called penicillium cannot coexist with bacteria. That is, it is antibacterial. That is where the word antibiotic comes from. So Sir Alexander Fleming was awarded Nobel Prize in 1945 for just declaring that penicillium is antibiotic. Just the way I'm declaring that sawdust is antibiotic. It looks just something small for granted, but it is a big scientific principle that has not been revealed. It has not been registered in books. It is a new principle, actually, that I'm revealing that sawdust is antibiotic, and it actually kills those bacteria that cause the skin to peel away, and those that bring the bad smell from shoes and socks and gumboots.
All right.
Yeah.
There's also ash as well.
So when this sawdust is burnt, even it is sawdust, it is antibiotic. That is, it is antibacterial. But when you burn it again, it is not now antibacterial. It becomes something else. This ash. So this ash, again, it is another form of medicine. You have seen at rural, the grains are stored in ash. You can use ash to store grains, and whatever. It is because we don't want fungus to develop on the grains. So you find that in this ash from the sawdust, it is antifungal.
Okay.
It is antifungal because actually when you burn ash, you burn this sawdust, it produces ash, and ash contains sulfur and phosphorus. And sulfur is the one that actually destroys the fungus. So it is antifungal. You can even use it as a detergent to wash yourself if you have fungus, because it is antifungal.
So this is also another declaration that you're making. You just made one that this is antibiotic and that is now antifungal.
It is antifungal.
Okay.
At the same time, the chemicals that are in the ash, actually, they are poison to maggots.
Mm-hmm.
When something is rotting or decaying, it produces maggots and bad smell.
Mm-hmm.
So the methods of preservation are there to ensure that the maggots are not produced and there is no bad smell. So you find that in our latrines, that smell very bad. When you go to sprawling, you find in those areas where we don't have nice housing, you
or
find
enough
that
of latrine services as well. Not enough. There's a lot of communities which are sharing. Okay.
You find that there is a bad smell that is awful and it is awkward and it is odorous. So you find that what is required to preserve those latrines is to kill the maggot. And killing the maggot, this ash that comes from the sawdust, it is anti-maggotic. It destroys maggots. It kills maggots. And when those maggots are killed, we cannot feel or sense that bad smell.
All right. So now, what is the industry-wide application of this looking like if we were to apply this and deploy the solution on a large-scale basis?
So on a large-scale basis, because what we require is the sawdust. What we require is the sawdust, so that the sawdust is reduced into powder. We have very many points of carpentry. They can do their carpentry, and at the same time, they can sell this sawdust to a certain industry that can produce a fine dust that can be used as a chemical to kill bacteria or as the antibiotic. So this one, we can assist the carpenters so that they don't just throw away dust as if it is rubbish, but again it can be recycled and turned into medicine. At the same time, this ash that comes from the sawdust can be used to treat toilets or latrines. At the same time, it can be used for storage for storage to store the grains so that they don't develop fungus. And at the same time, because it has phosphorus and sulfur, and there is phosphorus and sulfur that is required for the manufacture of chlorophyll, so it stops the yellowing of plants. The ash stops the yellowing.
It's also very important for farmers.
Yes, as it can be used as fertilizer at the same time.
Okay.
It can be used as fertilizer, as a detergent, it can be used as antifungal, it can be used to preserve toilets, that is to kill maggots at the same time. Or in any environment where we don't require maggots, we can use ash, because ash and maggots, they don't coexist.
Okay. So how can the manufacturing industry in Kenya tap into this kind of solution? Because I feel like we are due for the industry-wide application of this. Is there maybe some improvement to the production process that should be happening, or some kind of investment that isn't happening, so that we can realize the benefits of this on, the whole populace of Kenya can get this?
Because what is required is to create awareness about the sawdust, and actually to cement as a principle in science that sawdust actually is antibiotic. That is the very most important thing about it. That sawdust is antibiotic. Because it is antibiotic, again, we can find some other various applications after research, after thorough research.
Okay. All right. So in cementing this scientific application and ensuring that everyone knows that sawdust is antibiotic, and also ash is antifungal, right?
And it destroys maggots.
What is your current process in ensuring, of course, that this awareness is getting also to the scientific community in Kenya?
You see, with the principle of discovering, when you come up with a discovery, you have discovered something, you have to make a declaration. So that if anyone else comes to make that declaration, it is not credited to him, it is credited to you. So because it is a working principle, it is not controversial. It is something that you can even exercise in your home. It is not something you are supposed to go to scientists and find out. You can just find out
try and
by
do
yourself,
it at home,
because it is a working principle. It is not controversial. It is not here to be debated upon, because it is something that is working on the ground. And it can assist people who are throwing these kind of things so that it can make their lives much better by selling them. Now, instead of throwing this kind of thing, they can begin selling them on the medical grounds and some other grounds like fertilizer and whatever.
Interesting, because I hear you say that now it's possible, of course, for someone at home to go and try it themselves. They can pick sawdust today from their nearest carpenter, pick some ash, and also try to apply to some of those things that you've said. Try and preserve grains, try and clean their toilets with today, try and apply this powder on their boots today or in their gloves if they're in active use.
They can use in the shambas as fertilizers, so that there is no way.
It's nothing to debate about. It's something that is already, something they don't need a lab to test.
They don't need a lab to test.
On a very small scale, they can be able to do that. Now, there are fears, of course, on the environmental impacts that this kind of solution has. We're trying to move green, trying to cut less trees, trying to discourage plumbing. How can we address those fears and concerns that this is also coming from trees, which we are trying not to cut?
In fact, this one should give us motivation to plant trees. Just what the government is trying to encourage us, that people should continue planting trees, because it is from these trees that we can get some other things that can assist us. So the solution is to plant more trees,
so that we can gain more benefits.
We can gain more benefits. And also we are supposed to give awareness to people, such that even those carpenters or whatever, they must know that this is not just rubbish to throw away, but it's something that can be converted into medicine, and it can benefit them financially.
Okay, so there's, of course, this is a very novel offering that you are bringing to the masses to test out and to see its application. But there have been, of course, other industrial solutions, pesticides, there have been cleaning detergents, and maybe the question is how effective or how much more effective are these compared to the ones that we already have?
First of all, it is not devastating to the environment, the sawdust itself. As a chemical, it is not a chemical that again affects our living cells. Just the way we have formaldehyde is a formalin, it preserves, but it kills living cells. It has some side effects. This one does not have such kind of side effects, whereby again it affects us at the same time. No, it does not have. It is very neutral, and it is very cheap to produce, and very many people can be access to it, because carpentry is everywhere. When it comes to ash, at the same time, ash is supposed to be taken to the shamba. When it is taken to the shamba, we are going to get much more production.
And there are no side effects as well.
And after getting those
pesticides and fertilizer from the industries.
From the industries. Because it cannot coexist with the fungus, we can, after getting our grains from the shamba, we can store them for a very long time because of the ash, because it kills the fungus.
All right.
At the same time, our latrines, we can preserve them by using the ash, because it kills maggots. Or in an environment where there are maggots and we don't need them, we can use ash. It is a chemical.
Easily accessible.
It is a chemical that kills maggots.
Right. Now, Francis, maybe to wind this up, you are a man of science, and we've spoken about very scientific principles here, of course, trying to make a declaration, as you said, into the discoveries and into the insights you've gained from taking a look at these natural preservatives. Are you going to pursue a business venture through it, on your own terms, maybe try a small-scale industry level of converting this sawdust to powder? Is that something you're looking forward to, and how do you plan to do that if it's in the works?
Actually, I have these kind of projects, very many of them, and they just need investment or investor to carry them from the ground and make them industrial. Because to make something industrial, we need machinery and whatever to ground this one to become a powder. we need some machine to ground this on.
And that needs money.
Yeah, and that is money.
Okay.
So actually, I'm trying to open up this space so that the investors can come in and actually see the importance of these kind of things, because they can assist us, and also they can open up industry so that we can have jobs for these simple things.
All right. That is a call out to Francis Were, to anyone out there who would like to invest in some of these solutions, which is offering novel offerings, of course, in the world of science, but with application in business and, you know, industry-wide use of natural preservatives which have been extracted from wood, something that we see every single day around us. So be checking that out. If you missed that conversation, I don't know where you are at, but we'll be uploading it as well so that you can catch up and see if you can reach out to him and develop this solution further. Thank you very much, Francis, for creating time for us another time and giving us, of course, layman's breakdown into some of the complex ways in which you imagine and see the world.
And the professor should recall that the sawdust is antibiotic.
Right.
They can test on their own, and they're going to find out independently correctly. I found it.
Test it out. Sawdust antibiotic and ash
antifungal and anti-maggotic.
Anti-maggotic.
Yeah.
Think about it as you go for this short break, and then we'll be back with much more of business. #Biashara Tuesday.